The fifth revision task is to eliminate wordiness in your essay. Some things that you may use without knowing may help to create a wordiness that you don't want. In an essay that in most cases is limited in terms of the number of words or the number of characters or the number of lines, extra baggage or dead weight in your writing can make you get to your word limit before you run out of things to say. So 3 things that often cause wordiness in your essay are using the passive voice, needless repetition, and then just things that are wordy phrases that by definition are just wordy. Wordy phrases and clauses. Just kind of habits of speaking that use more words than they need to use. So first of all, passive voice. Passive voice is it's a construction that is the opposite of the active voice. But what passive voice means is that you have a sentence in which the subject of your sentence is passive instead of active. So these are examples of sentences that are written in the passive voice. My name was called next by the nurse. The subject of the sentence is my name. However, in the sentence, my name is not doing anything. It is having something done to it. It is being called by the nurse. So this is a sentence that it's in the passive voice because the subject of the sentence is receiving action. That is, the subject is passive and not active. The next sentence also is an example of the passive voice. The list of cast members was posted by the director. The subject of the sentence is the list of cast members. It's not doing anything. It's having something done to it. What is being done to it? Well, it's being posted by the director. So this is passive because the subject of the sentence is not doing anything. It's having something done to it. To change these sentences to the active voice, we would simply rearrange things so that the subject of the sentence is doing the action. So for the first sentence, we would change it to the nurse called my name next. Now, the subject of the sentence is the nurse, and she is actually doing the action. She is calling my name. My name is not doing anything. She is calling my name. So this is now the active voice. In the second example, we have taken the sentence and rearranged the ideas so that the subject of the sentence is now doing the action. The director posted the list of cast members. Take a look at your essay. You can pause now and take a look at your essay and find places where you have used the passive voice instead of the active voice. The passive voice isn't wrong. There are times you use it for emphasis. Using the passive voice puts the emphasis on the subject of the sentence, and sometimes you want that. But you need to look, because if you accidentally use it and you're not thinking about it, it adds wordiness to your sentence. And if you notice, both of these sentences in the passive voice have be verbs. So if you're paying attention to be verbs, sometimes you'll find that when you have a be verb, it's because you use the passive voice. Just an example. I'm just going to stop there. Never mind. The second way that wordiness is added into your essay is through needless repetition. This ends up in your paper accidentally. I'm 100% convinced that we use these kinds of phrases and we don't really think about the fact that they may be redundant. So these are examples from student essays. The first segment or fragment from a student sentence says, I felt a rush of adrenaline and excitement as blah, blah, blah. If you think about it, adrenaline and excitement, even though they are not synonyms, they are not synonymous words. They don't exactly mean the same thing. The use of them in this sentence, when you're talking about a rush of either of them, they really imply the same thing. So saying I felt a rush of adrenaline as I blah, 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 is as effective as it is to say I felt a rush of adrenaline and excitement as. So you don't really need both because they kind of suggest the same thing. Second example, an excruciating stabbing pain. While these aren't synonymous, to say that you had a stabbing pain is pretty excruciating. So do you really need both words? And the answer is maybe yes, but it's probably no. This accomplishment marked my longing to lead my club to even more exciting and breathtaking victories. Exciting and breathtaking, again, not synonymous, but the use of both of them is kind of redundant because they both imply the same thing. Not to mention breathtaking. I don't know. In my opinion, it's kind of not a word that 18-year-olds really say. So it just sounds not authentic to me. The last one is a more obvious example. My last and final brilliant idea. Last and final, in fact, are synonyms. And so using these together is just redundant. So stop now, take a look at your paper, see if you have these little constructions. Notice that a lot of these use and, like something and something, something and something. Did you use a little and construction and accidentally repeat the idea? And is that a place where you could take out some extra verbiage? So go ahead and stop now and check your paper. The next strategy is something that we talked about it was in the voice video that we looked at. This idea that students want to write very academically and show off their word skills and sound very intelligent. Sometimes when you do that, you end up being extra wordy. So this example says, due to the fact that access to internet resources is actually at the present time very easy to access in many places, the vast majority of users seek to have those kinds of devices that are most easy to carry around with them wherever they go. That is 46 words. If you play around with it, you can get it down to 12 by saying, because the internet is available in most places, users often prefer portable devices. So the idea is, just say what you need to say. We want to develop, we want to be specific, we want to provide detail, but provide detail where it counts. And don't say something in a whole lot of words that you could very easily say in a lot fewer words. So you want to be direct. Use your words wisely. A couple of other examples of needless wordiness. I absolutely hated my name once I started school. A word like absolutely, generally you don't need. It doesn't add content to your paper. The time we spent together turned out to be extremely enlightening for me. Extremely, a word like that, some of these quantifiers or intensifiers don't really add content to your paper. So think about taking out words like that. We're going to go ahead and stop there. And then in the next video, we're going to talk a little bit about revising by combining sentences and varying sentence beginnings, and then what to look out for as you work on that strategy.